Welcome to this step-by-step tutorial on sewing a cool-looking sleeveless shirt, perfect for any casual or semi-formal occasion. Let's get started. Before we begin, gather your supplies: a pattern, fabric, interfacing, matching thread, and buttons. Once everything's ready, let's dive into the first step. Start by cutting the fabric according to the pattern, following the lines carefully for accuracy. Clip notches as indicated, and use a tracing wheel to transfer all markings onto the fabric to guide the sewing process. For the pocket, trace the pocket placement onto the front piece using a tracing wheel. Lay the pocket pattern onto the fabric and cut it out. Apply interfacing to the edge of the pocket opening, fold it inward, and press to fuse. For the front opening edges, apply interfacing along the opening edges of both front pieces. Fold the opening edges inward and press to fuse the interfacing. For the collar, trace the collar pattern onto the interfacing fabric and cut it out. Apply the interfacing to the collar pieces and press to fuse. Fold each collar piece in half lengthwise, securing it with pins, and cut along the pattern lines. Repeat the process for all collar pieces, including the bottom collar pieces, to ensure they are fully prepared. Double fold the top edge of the pocket as marked on the pattern, straight stitch along the folded edge to secure it. Fold the remaining edges inward and press them flat for a clean finish. Place the pocket on the front right piece, aligning it with the traced markings. Top stitch along the pocket edges to secure it in place. When you reach the top corners, stitch a small triangle to reinforce the corners before continuing to top stitch along the remaining edge. Trim any excess corner fabric to reduce bulk. Fold the back piece along the dart markings. Straight stitch along the dart lines. Repeat for the other dart. Press the darts flat to ensure a smooth finish. Align the front neck pieces with the back neck piece on the corresponding edges. Use a serger to join them together. Then press the seam flat. Align the front pieces to the back piece at the shoulder seams. To create a clean finish, roll the front and back pieces tightly, leaving the back neck piece flat. Pull the back shoulder seam forward and align it with the front shoulder seam. Use a serger to join the seams. Turn the garment through the armhole to reveal the joined seam. Lay it flat and press. To improve the fit, pull the back shoulder seam forward on the front piece, revealing more of the shoulder. Press it flat. Repeat this process for the opposite shoulder. Top stitch along the shoulder seams for a polished look. Serge the edges of both side seams to prevent fraying and create a clean finish. Place 2 collar pieces right sides together. Straight stitch around, leaving the bottom edge open. At each corner, stop sewing and place a short strip of thread under the needle to create a loop. Continue sewing to the next corner. This loop will help pull the corners out later. Trim the excess fabric at the corners. Turn the collar right side out and use the thread loops to pull the corners out sharply. Press the collar flat. Top stitch along the bottom edge to close the collar. Align the bottom collar pieces with the top collar and stitch them together. Trim the seam allowance. Clip the curves and turn the collar right side out. Press the entire collar flat. Fold the edges of the front opening inward along the interface line. Top stitch them in place. Repeat for the opposite front opening. Pin the collar to the neckline, aligning it evenly. Straight stitch to join the collar to the neckline. And clip the curves of the neckline seam. Top stitch along the bottom collar edge for a neat finish. Align the fabric strips along the armhole edges, ensuring they cover the raw edges. Fold the fabric strip in half lengthwise and straight stitch to attach it along the armhole. Repeat this process for the other armhole. Once both strips are stitched, trim off any excess fabric. Press the seam flat. Next, fold the armhole inward, encasing the raw edge, and top stitch along the folded edge to secure it in place. Repeat the same steps for the other armhole. Pin the side seams together, aligning the armhole hems. Straight stitch from the armhole to the hemline to join the sides. press the seam flat and fold the slit edges inward, press them to hold the fold in place. Double fold the bottom edge of the shirt inward. Straight stitch to secure the hem. Repeat for the other side. Fold the slit edges inward and straight stitch along the edges to finish the slits. Repeat for all slits. Straight stitch the brand label onto the inner neckline. Press the shirt for a polished look. Switch your sewing machine to the buttonhole setting. Use the pattern markings to determine buttonhole placement. Stitch each buttonhole carefully. Repeat for all buttonholes. Mark the button placements corresponding to the buttonholes. Align the buttons on the markings and hand stitch them securely in place. Repeat until all buttons are attached. And that's it. A stylish sleeveless shirt is ready to wear. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more sewing projects. See you in the next video.